Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner, and welcome to a very special celestial decorating video today. We are going to be working in the Peaceful Meadow. I'm going to be working with Merlin's home, one of the OG homes from Disney Dreamlight Valley, because we do have a bunch of new celestial stuff in the premium shop this week, and I've been inspired to make something very blue, very gold, and bringing all of those spacey elements together, all of those astrology elements, all of those good things into one build. This is a decorating full long play video with commentary for the whole thing. I hope that you find it useful. I hope that you find it relaxing. Maybe you can even use it to put you to sleep. I don't know whether that's a glowing review or not, but hopefully it helps in some way. If you do enjoy this video at any point, I would love it if you would give it a like, maybe even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But with all that being said, I'm going to jump straight into it with a nice blank space in the Peaceful Meadow so we can start decorating. All right, so as usual, I do have a mood board up here, things that I think I might use for this build. Now you'll see that I do have this cozy star observatory at the back here, and I do absolutely love this premium shop house. However, I feel like the Merlin celestial stuff and this celestial pond have a slightly different vibe to this observatory. I almost feel like this observatory is kind of more in line with Belle's cottage and things like that, especially with all the timber work and the much warmer stone. So originally I was going to do a build with all of this together, but I actually think that I'm going to save this particular house for another build. So we're going to leave that up there today, so definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm going to try and do another build with that observatory. However, we still are going to do a build today with Merlin's library and the celestial pond, and then a bunch of the celestial elements that we do have in game, as well as perhaps this luminous gazebo, which I have never used in a build yet, but I'm excited to try and fit that in to this one. So the first thing that I'm going to do, as usual, is I'm actually going to bring Merlin's down because we are going to do this in the Peaceful Meadow. Now, you'll know if you've watched some of my decorating videos before that I love working down here in the Peaceful Meadow. I just think that the color of the green throughout this biome fits perfectly for so many of the houses that we have, and it helps that Merlin's has already got this Peaceful Meadow green on the rockery. I did toy with doing it in one of the DLC maps, but I tore down my Cruella build that I did in this corner, and I feel like this Merlin build is going to work a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get maybe just the general structure or layout sorted of where I want this, because I was thinking of possibly using this lighthouse as well. Now I know that that feels a little bit strange, but it does have the blue to it, and it also has the gold accent, and I just feel like it almost feels like a companion piece to Merlin's library, especially when you kind of look at it like that. So my idea for that was to have some water, and I don't know whether to have two bodies of water or just the one. Obviously we do have the ponds, and there is this large pond over here, but I can't help but feel like this little corner, maybe this is my crutch, but this little corner over here is just an element that I absolutely love in this biome. So let's try something like that. I'm going to move this out of the way because that lighthouse can actually go on water. So if I go back here and I type in river, we will get the river kit come up. So I think I might just try the largest one for now, which is this one, and I'm going to see how close I can get it to the edge of the biome. Looks like it's hitting Merlin's there, so let me move Merlin across and let's just see how close we can get this to the edge. Can you imagine if the water just hung off the edge like that? So let me pull that out, and then that way. So it looks as though that's it. Looks as though that's where it would be if we were to just have a piece of water. Now, there is something in my inventory which I can't place down yet, and that is the Moontide Glow Waves, which come with Pocahontas. But this is quite a big item. The footprint of that is really quite large, which is a shame because you can see that it does have green, which is the actual size of it, but then it has that really kind of like, I don't know, that really wide base that goes all the way edge to edge. But I was just thinking, doesn't that feel like celestial? That feels celestial to me. So I don't know if that can go, I can go on top of it as well. Look at that. So I just kind of feel like, the lighthouse fits really nicely. It's a shame that I can't rotate the Moontide Glow, but I wonder if I could rotate... Okay, I can rotate that. So I'm wondering if I'm wondering if I pop 2 of these down. Could I fit 2? I can. Oh, I managed to do 1 rotation. Tell you what, let me take it to the sea. Then I can do the rotating myself. There we go. Something like that, maybe? And then we just pop the lighthouse just off center. Oh, that does feel celestial. That does feel celestial. Part of me does feel like maybe I should add the border or the edge from the river kit around that. Let me see what I've got. I search river again. We've got the couple of different edge pieces. Obviously, these do have some tropical planting on them. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure that I've got everything that I could want to build this small, I guess it's like a pond out. I'm just going to place these down. Let's do that. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. There's actually so many edges to this kit. I am hoping one day that we get another version of the river kit that maybe is just, I don't know. I could totally see one being for each biome. I know that these at the moment are themed for Neverland, so they're themed for Peter Pan. See, Merlin's is getting a little bit squished over here now. That's my only worry, because I was thinking of doing like, let me show you. I was thinking of doing something like circular, like this. I don't know how this would fit, but I probably need an internal piece here. Kind of like that. Does it not want to go there? I'm a little bit too far out, so let me move those back in group mode. Try that again. Duplicate you. Yeah, I was just trying to, I don't know, I was just trying to mix it up a little bit and make it feel less square. Let's steal one of those again and grab, if I can, that little bit of river. Maybe pop that in, and then I could do this one. And we could use maybe this. It's all about this river kit. It's kind of like playing Tetris. You just have to work with what you've got. But actually, it probably needs another inner piece. If I can grab one. It doesn't seem to want to grab it. It's got a funny little footprint on it. But if I keep one spare, that should be fine. That's my only complaint with the river kit, is we can't make it really feel round. Primarily because it does have such sharp corners. Like, I would love a bigger piece than this that was really round to create really big circular ponds. But right now, obviously, that does feel quite squished. But I'm just thinking, I'm sure that there's a river piece. I thought it was the full size. I was going to say there's a rectangle one, but I thought it was the full size. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I can't put the Moontide Glow on that one, which is a shame. So it does seem as though it can only go on the absolute biggest one. Which means we may have to consider where Merlin ends up. And actually whether that is in the start or the... I say start. Whether that's in front of Merlin's or whether it's behind Merlin's. But they go together really nicely, right? I think that they're like a perfect match. So we could always tuck Merlin here. I just want to make sure that I'm able to run down the side of it if that's the case. But let's keep just fleshing this out And in fact, I think I need to move it away from the edge. Ah, maybe I don't, unless I put foliage down there. At least the grouping mode is bigger now, so that makes everything a little bit easier. But let's go ahead and try and finish this bit off. I'm going to do that one, and then let's do... See, because you could do something like... Guess maybe I could just do this one and attach it back, but then it looks like it's not fully attached, so... Let's go with this one on the edge, because I could always put a bit of foliage in if I need to. But then look, I'm so far off here. Let's duplicate that instead, so I still have it. And then let me see what this one does. Will you fit? No, I'm backwards because it needs to be there, right? Let me work my way out. Oh no, you need to be another inner piece if I'm trying to do that. Yeah, there we go. It needs to be like that. And then that should fit. Okay. Okay, that works. I can get on board with that. All right, if that's the case, then instead of doing this bit over here, let's move this all the way down to the edge. Let's move that all the way down there. Maybe we bring it out. Yeah, actually, that works. Let's do that. Let's bring that back there. Let's grab that one. And then we'll work something out. Whether we rotate it, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Let's work with that. And I think then we can keep this corner slightly smaller. Move those pieces just on the edge for now, and I'm going to just continue working my way around super quick. So I'm thinking maybe like a smaller version of it versus what we were doing. So something, I don't know, just a little circle on the edge, something like that maybe. Let's bring that out because I fear that we will need to. But actually, no, that's not going to work, right? That's too small. I can't have that connected piece and one there. Not unless I did that and we moved a long one in its place, just like that. That could be fine. And then actually we could just move all of that there, and that fits. Ah, look at that. So good, so good, so good. Okay, well, let me fill those little gaps in super quick just so I can see how that looks. We'll grab the smallest version of the river kit, which is this nice 2x2 version, and then there we go. That's all filled in, which I love. And then yeah, let me work my way down this side. I'm not going to do too much, he says, but I think something along the lines of that, maybe with the inner piece. Looks like I'm one too many forward for there. Although maybe even that is too much. Maybe even that is too much. Let's go for a smaller piece then. Let's do this one. Oh, you're just a straight piece. I want one with a little bit of curvature to it. So let's do you there. And then we can maybe bring it back down. And then around again. Like that. And then let's go for a straight piece down the side, and then we can bring that circle back in. So we're going to need another one of these, but facing outward. And then we can start to bring, which actually might need a little bit more. Let's move that over there. Let's bring this other circular piece on. And then I wonder where the best place for that is, because I can't go too far back. So maybe that is the best. Like that. And then how do we want to connect you back up? I guess we could just leave it like that, though. That feels good. Yeah, that feels good. And then I'll just fill in those gaps. Like that. That's cute. And then we could even do like, you know, like here, like just a small pond like that. And then maybe even out the front, we could do another version. Maybe something kind of like that. Maybe this is not going to go with the overall vibe that I was planning, but I think it looks good for now. All right, let me leave it like that for this part. So I'm just gonna move those instead of getting rid of them. But now the question is, where does Merlin's go? Maybe out the front right here? Kind of like this? Or do I bring this build like even further out? But then what goes in the back? You know, there's lots of questions. I don't know if the group mode is actually going to select. Oh, it does. It's big enough to select all of that now. So you could actually rotate it to see what it looked like elsewhere. Interesting. Because there's always the option to put Merlin's like this side. Wonder how it looks. The mouse is a little bit finicky. Right, definitely lots of choices then. Unless I just went with not having that tucked right at the back and actually having it all the way forward. Kind of like that. But then Merlin's all the way at the back of that doesn't feel quite right either. So I wonder if what I originally... Well, that one doesn't seem too bad, but I'm blocking the mining node. That's my only qualm about that one. So maybe that is best. Maybe that's the feeling. Maybe that's the one. So let me get that down. And then what I was thinking was... Well, I don't really know what I was thinking, to be honest. But I've got this luminous butterfly gazebo, and I know it's not exclusively celestial, but it does feel like it fits. But, you know, it doesn't feel like it fits behind there. So I wonder if we do something out front. Maybe like that. No. Where do you want to go? Where do I want you to go? That's the main question. Maybe this pond moves over here for now, and we have it up front like this. But then again, it begs the question, what am I going to put down the back there? Because originally I thought, okay, well, I could have Merlin's out the front. We could have the gazebo out the back. But what I don't love about that idea is that it feels like the gazebo's like lost, you know? It feels like the gazebo's tucked away and forgotten about, whereas actually it's such a lovely item that I kind of want it to be on show, but I also don't want it to take away from Merlin's. So there's lots to think about with this one. What I do love is the lighthouse with the glow. That's what I really do love. It's just how we fit the rest of it in. I wonder if there's some... No. I was going to say, I wonder if there's some way for me to... See, I'm kind of eating into that there, but... going through my mind now is whether I just have the water in the center and I basically add all of this on the other side, and that's kind of like it's floating its own little island. And then whether Merlin's just sits off of that. And then maybe like the gazebo sits over to the left. But that, I'm not sure. That doesn't feel as good. It feels like too much of a triangle. I like to use triangles in my layouts, but that doesn't feel quite right. And it definitely doesn't feel right having Merlin's face the same way. So actually, I think something along these lines works for me. Something like that. I put that in line with that. Actually, what if we had Merlin's back a little bit and this one out a little bit so the gazebo actually leads to Merlin's house? I don't know if there's a rotation on this that I could get those lined up. Oh, there is. So I'm thinking that in line with there, but also in line with his front door. And that could be either the path or the approach to the house. But what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to get some path down to make sure that that works. If I grab a path, I'm just going to grab any path for now. Let's just do this green one. I know this is garish, but it's not going to be permanent. And then I'm going to change to diagonal mode. I'm just going to pull that all the way down and make it too wide, because that at least lets us see where the midpoints are. So actually, nicely, that has a bit of a guide because it goes into a point. So you can actually bring that kind of all the way down. And that lines up. And then if we move Merlin's to about there, that lines up. So you'll see that that now leads basically straight off that to Merlin's. The only thing it's not doing is it's not in line with that anymore. So I'm just going to bring that back a couple of tiles until I can get that to basically sit where I want to, because I do want it. I do want it in line with this little inlet for some reason. Don't ask me why, but if I just come back, I think that might be it. Or maybe one more. One down, one across. I mean, that's totally arbitrary. I'm just doing that for the sake of it. But the one thing I've realized I've forgotten, which I really want to use, I really, really want to use this time, is this celestial pond. Now, I said on my live stream, this to me is clearly inspired by Celestial Park at Epic Universe. It could not be more obvious to me that it fits with the whole theme. And I really do think that somebody at Gameloft took a trip down to Epic and then they thought, you know what, let me do something inspired by that. And I'm glad that they did, because this is absolutely gorgeous. Actually, having it round about there feels right. I feel like that feels like it's in the right place. Like it should be just off the entrance. Like that's another way that you could come to Merlin's house. So I'm going to place that down there for now. Maybe that's a little bit cramped. Maybe, see, I was looking, maybe it should be out the back. But just based off the river kit we've got down, we can't fit it that way. We might, if we got rid of the small pond, be able to fit it like that. Let's see how that looks. Doesn't look to be the case, actually. Seems as though we're still getting stuck on Merlin. So I don't think out the back is the best place for it. And also it's quite hidden out there. The only other option really is like off the side of this gazebo. But again, even there, it feels like it's in the wrong place. So I don't know. I'm going to trust my instincts. I'm going to go with my original, which is having it over here. And I think I want the rings facing away from Merlin's, just to draw the eye away rather than to. And you're kind of looking at the telescope right there. So that works for me. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to change this up. Let me see what the gold looks like. I think the gold might be a little bit too much. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. The brick feels good as well, actually. Mostly because it matches the color of the celestial pond as closely as we can. I don't like things like the stone slab, personally. Ancient's Path looks okay, but it's a... I mean, actually, that doesn't look too bad. And let me check some of the new ones real quick. So, like the cobblestone path. I don't know if... I mean, it's not... Actually, that's not that bad. Because it kind of matches the tone of the brickwork. It just doesn't quite match the coolness of what I consider this to be this rock work. But actually, I'm not mad at that one. Let's see what this looks like. That's a no. Still like the brick road. Actually, maybe the gold one isn't too bad. And then what else have we got? Things like... I mean, that doesn't actually look too bad either. Wait, I kind of think I like that one the most. All right, you know what? I'm going to keep that one for now. I will have to try and tweak it because the border, unfortunately, still passes through stuff, but we persevere. And then I've got a bunch of other elements up here. See, the one thing that I was thinking of using was the brick wall kit in this build, but I just don't know where. I don't know where, I don't know how. I was like, maybe I could have formal gardens or something like that. Actually, I wonder if... Let me just check something real quick. Am I going to be able to move all of you? Okay, I'm missing a little bit on the back. I think that's everything. Let me just see what... Let me see. Where are you hitting? That's fine. Ah, it's Merlin's house, that's why. Actually, I think that's enough. There. Let me place that there. And let me see if that does actually go down the side. Because you could actually get the water to run right up to the edge of that. And then it feels like it was kind of like walled in, like a walled in pond. Shame we can't put it right down to the edge, so I'm 2 tiles off. I can bear that in mind, though, because I might... It's you. I think if I just get rid of that... And then we group it. I might be able to get a bit closer. Well, look at that. Okay. That moved. I might turn around and think, do you know what? Hell no, I hate this. But if you never try, you will never know. All right, let me see. Oh, I don't know. Honestly, the answer is I don't know. I know I've got a missing piece down here. And it's probably going to have to be... I'm going to have to sort that out another way. Maybe I am... Maybe sorta kinda? Reflection, I don't think that use works. I'll be honest. I don't think that specific use case works. So I'm gonna move that a little bit closer back. However, I feel determined to somehow use those walls in this build. Let me just pop that back in. It's just where and how. Especially these beds. The fact that we can put plants in these flower beds now. I just... Where do you want to go? I mean, I guess I could... They won't join, right? Because they're on the diagonal. Actually, they don't get too far away from each other, but that feels a little bit claustrophobic. Those are a bit too tall for that, I would say. All right, do you know what? Let's sit with that. Let's sit with that and see if we can fit them in, maybe in a little bit. But for now, let's take a look at what else I've got down here. I did put a bunch of the celestial looking stuff down. We do have this. We do have this. Now, I don't know how to feel about this. It's quite a cool item, but also it's quite hard to work with. You can't actually get it back into this corner because even though it only takes up that green section, so those 4x4 tiles, it does have its own huge grid as well, and it means you can only get it to there because for some reason it won't go any further back. So I've kind of backed myself into a corner, for lack of a better term, with how I can use this, but it could kind of sit, if I can get the angle right, it could kind of sit just above Merlin's house, like in between that and the gazebo, because I can't place it. Oh, I can place it over the gazebo. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. But I feel like it works a little bit better like towards Merlin's house. So I was thinking if I did it somewhere like that, you know, that looks interesting. I don't know whether to bring that closer or bring it further away. Yeah, actually, I'm going to take all of that just back as far as I can go to give the path a little bit of breathing room on either side. Maybe we even, yeah, maybe we do that. Okay, at least I've got those rocks in there because I was determined to try and get them in this build. Would I have preferred it directly over Merlin's house? Yes. Will I survive? Also yes. I do have a telescope. I do have a pretty cool looking gold light type of thing. We've got some sort of gold pedestal. We've got stone statues. There's quite a lot going on. There's these planets, which again are quite different. Can't go on water, unfortunately. But it can go in that gazebo, which I did not realize. So maybe that's where we use that. Maybe we center that right in the middle of the gazebo. So if I put that there, and then I put that there, is that centered? No, it is not. Where do you need to be, my friend? I think you need to be like... You need to be about there. And I think that's right in the... Okay, that's in the middle of the gazebo. That looks cool. That looks really cool. And it feels like it matches the colors of the gazebo. So I really like that. I wonder instead of having it line up with that part of the pond, whether I make it line up. No, actually, that's fine because I like the angle of still being able to see the lighthouse. I was going to say if I make it in the middle of the water, I feel like it's going to cross too much with that lighthouse. So I kind of like the aspects that this is creating. So let me go ahead and bring down... Let me go ahead and just bring down the rest of the celestial stuff. So we've got the lights, and then we've got the fireplace here. And then there's a bunch of stone stuff, but I do have also a bigger telescope. So I know that this does have a telescope on it, but you know, Merlin's got things to look at. So let's place that maybe over there. Something like that. Because I'm guessing wait. You can put that in there too. which also looks really good. So now I don't know what to do. Because actually I kind of like that, because that feels more like a well. Oh, that kind of feels more like it's like a well. I don't know. I mean, the planet is also cool in there. These are hard choices, clearly. Hard choices. I wonder if I could get some of... I was going to say, I wonder if I could get one of these either side of his building, but I don't think I can get them where I want them just because of the pond. So maybe it is that the pond's in the wrong place. But where is the right place? That's the question. Is it out the back? But I want to be able to see it, and we couldn't fit it in there, right? So that's an issue. No, I think the pond is where it needs to be. He says to gaslight himself into doing what he wants. Unless I rotate it slightly, so there's like a little bit of a curvature to it. But then I'm like, am I just lining everything up? Am I lining that up with that? That's still my gut feeling to go with that. I actually just bring this stuff down now from the mood board down to the base. Well, the rest of what I was thinking, because I've also got these stone tiles, which I don't want to forget about. I've also got like this stuff, these kind of like stepping stones. I've also got these zircon tiles, which actually go quite nicely. I might need to craft a couple more of those, but then I've also got these ones that have a little bit of blue in them. So that kind of like matches as well. It's just all of the options, but actually they could work quite nicely as like individual stepping stones towards his house. We do something like that. Let's see how many of those we can get in. Is the next one gonna touch? Yes, the next one's gonna touch. So it would be, what, 4 of those? But they might need to move down like 1 each. Unless I could get that one any... Let me get as close as I can get here, which is there. And then we'll just work backwards towards his house and hope for the best and hope that we can fit an extra one in. Oh, we can't. It's 1 tile too short. What a shame. Okay. Maybe that feels too... Can his house go back by 1? Ah, it can. Okay. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this back up here just for now because it's quite in the way, but I know that's where I'm going to put it. So let me bring Merlin back to there. And I think that's going to give us enough space to get those as close as we can get them. Yeah. You know what? I don't know if I love that. I don't know if I love that. I'm just toying with ideas. What looks good? What could look good? Okay, that does not look good. What am I thinking? Maybe they don't live on the path. Maybe they just live somewhere else. Maybe I create a patio with them or something to have the actual telescope on. And I think that's it. I've got the blue zircon ones, which do have a nice blue tone to them. But again, the footprint means that they have to be spaced out quite far apart. I mean, I don't hate that, so I'm going to leave 1 down there for now. And then I've got these big broken cobblestones. Are they totally fitting for this? Probably not, but I can put them in here actually. So Oh, wait, that doesn't actually. The fact that you can put them on there makes that a lot easier because you can keep those darker ones going through as well. So actually, I quite like that. And then I wonder if we could just have it like, you know, kind of coming out a little bit. Do I know where that's going? Absolutely not. Does it matter? Absolutely not. Okay. I was toying with using some of these big, like, stone vine decorations because they do match Merlin's building color. That's the thing. There's two types of, like, grays here, I guess. There's, like, this stone gray on Merlin's house, but then there's obviously this lighter, cool gray that's being used in places. I don't like the corner on that. I just caught that out the corner of my eye, and it needs, like, it needs more rounding, I would say. It's just how that rounding works. Okay, that looks even worse, so forget that. The only thing I was thinking was, could I get those as circles? But I can't, unfortunately. Well, I can. They just have to be on a different diagonal. I didn't think about that. Because then that could act as, like, stepping stones. Unless I just get rid of the path. Maybe Merlin's is whimsical enough that it doesn't need a path like that. Let me see what it looks like. That's with the path. That's without the path. I do feel like the path gives it a sense of structure that it needs. But then equally, I quite like the stepping stones on their own without the path. Choices. Lots of choices. But let me bring down some of this more stone stuff, like the lions. And I've got these dancers as well. Where all this is going to fit, I have no idea. I got one, and then we've got two. And then I've also got these starlight projectors. I'm just bringing literally everything down at this point. I do have these stone benches, which I think match quite nicely. So we could have a bench out there. Got this stone fence without the actual stone fence, unfortunately. And then I've got a different size of that vine. Oh, and then also this cool light. I did put these down, but I think that they don't quite fit. They're a little bit maybe too futuristic. And then obviously I've got books because Merlin does have books everywhere. And we also have these community lanterns. Now it just looks like a mood board. Now it looks like I've thrown everything down. What am I doing? I've gotten carried away. Let's refocus. Bring that back up there. Let's focus on what we have. What would be... I don't know if it would be cool to be able to do like a diagonal fence in between these fence posts. I've got the elegant white fence, or I've got the... We've got... No, not that. We have the marble fence. That doesn't quite go. That feels a little bit too Greek. So I think that stone pillar's out. It's chopped. Can I get another set of these in or no? I'm going to say no. Because look how big. Yeah. So that idea is not going to work either. So we're back to where we started, and that's absolutely okay. Oh, I like that, though. Wait, I kind of like that. Kind of like that. What if we put those in each of those? That feels fun. That's a bit different. Okay, let me leave that with that. Let's focus on this back bit. Let's focus on what is technically his, I don't know, kind of his back garden. Move the statue. So we've got this telescope. We've got, I don't know, some sort of spellbinding book. I think it needs a path. And I think I'm going to use exactly the same one. And it doesn't have to be very big. But if I fill this in, maybe something like that with some extra decoration. Of course, something to note is I haven't put any trees down on my mood board, so that is going to factor into this. I will have foliage. I'm probably going to have at least 1 or 2 big trees in this area to really fill it out. So I should probably start factoring those in, but I keep looking at these walls and I keep thinking, where can I get you? Could I make some sort of walled structure around this patio area? Could that be an option? Not with that over there, it's not. So let me see. Maybe it's 1 on each side. Oh my goodness, this is going to be the tiniest patio in the world. And then I don't even think I'm going to be able to fit. I move that over. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in there because it needs to be square. Oh, it's because of that dig hole. I mean, actually, that could work. I think if I plan it right, that could work without shrinking it too much. I'm thinking about the nodes. I'm thinking about this here. What if we just move it? Let me move you. I'm gonna squeeze those ones out. But where do you want to go? Put one on there. And then let's grab, I don't know, see if one of these fits. That one does not. But maybe this one will. Not quite. It needs to be straight. So let me bring this one over. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Take this straight piece. Actually, no. Let me move this down first. We'll go another path tile. And then I can do... But you won't go any further back that way. Well, that gives a bit more space already. So I can just work out the logistics of... And whether it's that just goes out by 1 then. To be able to... Wait, no, it can't be out by 1, right? It's going to have to be out by a bunch. I don't even think that's going to cover it. But that one does. Okay, it just has to be all the way down there. But this is pushed right up against the edge now. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Let me try... Oh yeah, I need to take Merlin's actual house into account. Oh, look at this tiny patio. Not this. I'm sorry, Merlin. What have I done? I'm giving you the smallest workspace in the world. Oh my goodness. What if I... What if we did it to here instead? And then what if we had the gates? Come on, Merlin, don't be like that. What if we had the... Mm, that's such a pain. Actually, no, wait. I can just put the small one in. Kind of like that, maybe? And I just base... Do I have a small... Oh, I do have a small single corner, so I could use the small single corner, possibly. Right there. Let's say that I got rid of... I might regret this and go completely back on it, but... Let's say I get rid of that. And I place the longer ones down here. That gives me some more patio area to play with. Like that. So actually the water line is like up against the brick. And then maybe what I could even do is try and just hide that gap, because there's like this path. I don't know if that will work, but I was thinking, what if I brought that up there? That kind of hides it. I know it doesn't hide it perfectly, but it helps. I've just realized that we don't have any, like, any proper blue pathing. That's the only one, really. I mean, we've got the ancient tile road, which I don't think is going to fit. Actually, if I attach that there, I should be able to change it all now. Okay. So if I move that to the ancient tile, I feel like the blue is actually a better fit. I mean, I could always have reeds running up the edge as well. It's really not the end of the world. I don't think the green one would work too well, but I think that the blue one, unless I did the precious pebble path, no, I think I could get away with the blue one. So I'm just going to change that for that. I'm just going to get rid of that tile. I think I'm probably going to have to try and get rid of that one if I can ever select it ever again, which does not seem to be the case. So let me grab it, put it here, and then I can work my way backwards. Like that. And that fits in there. Okay. That feels better for me. And I really wanted to try and use that wall kit. I know it looks a mess right now, so I'm going to dig that hole up and we'll finish this area. It's been dug, so let me pop some in here. Let's do... Actually, I should be able to fit all... Aha, forgot about you. Little wall terror. So I need to replan that. Where are you going to go? You can go to there. Which means I get rid of you. And then I've got that size. So what have I got now? I've got a 2 gap. Just a 2 gap. Which means I'm probably going to have to shrink it down. Which is fine. It just means I have to adjust this path. And then let's fill that out. So we're going to go down. Oops, what have I done there? I've just stolen it. Aha! You don't want to play ball, because it's going to have a gap down there. So that blue speckle path is not going to work. But I don't think we're going to notice that, to be perfectly honest. So I have to somehow now try and erase that blue path, because it does not want to be selected. Let me grab it again. We'll just do the same thing that I did earlier, and we're just gonna actually take the... Nothing over here wants me to select it, which is quite rude. We're gonna take you. I'm gonna get rid of that. And then we're gonna get rid of that, because I've just... 1, 2. And then that means I can place this one down, but do not deselect. select it. I can place it down, and then I can remove all. Perfect. Now we can put my gate back in. Where was it? Right in the corner? No, it wasn't, was it? It was just out to the side, and then that was in the corner. Okay, we made it. We made it. Let's do that, and bring that all the way across under Merlin's house. And I wonder if we could just fit one in before it hits Merlin's, or whether it's going to give us a no. It's going to give us a no, a big N-O. So why wouldn't it? Merlin hates me. Merlin hates me. But actually, we could probably... Wait, what? Is that smaller than the corner? Oh no, I moved. I moved it, didn't I? Silly me. Let me see what this looks like real quick, though. Well, I guess I could do something like that. That doesn't feel too bad. Although I feel like I'm making my workspace smaller again. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what I'm making. I'm not sure what it's meant to be, who it's meant to be for. Well, it seems like I've fit something. It seems like I fit something in there. Whether I can get to that mining node or not, I do not have a clue. But I mean, you could always leave a gap, I suppose. Wait, I can't fit that in there. What am I doing? Those would have to touch, or they're gonna have to be wide enough for me to... Okay, there, wait. Success? I think we've done it. Apart from this bit. Oh, this game is just like playing Tetris. I really thought I was onto something. Food for thought. But also a problem for... Let's say a problem for later. Right now, we need to focus. I mean, maybe I can fit a shrub or something there. All right, last piece of the puzzle. You're not going to fit, are you? Because it's a... What am I doing wrong? Do these just not line up? I must be doing something wrong. Because these are all the pieces. Right? What have I done wrong? I like how this looks, but I'm just not sure where I'm going wrong. Because I do want to use the planters. I mean, that's the dream, is to be able to use the planter ones and have some plants in there. But as of right now, let me remove the gate, because I don't know if it's the gate that's causing the issue. I fear, actually, that it might be. It is. Look at that. So it's because the gate... It's because the gate is an odd number. So everything else, by the look of it, yeah, everything else lines up to be the same width. But the gate is like one tile shorter on each side, which is diabolical. That's why we've ended up with a gap. So it's almost as if it needs a gate on the front and the back. Which, rude. Just super rude. Okay, let's put that... Let's get the back closed. Let's work with that. Let's work with what we've got and get the back closed up. So that's 2 tiles in for everything. But of course, that means off the back of that, we're not going to be able to use the gate in that spot. Which is wild to me. Why would they not allow that to be lined up? In In what world does that make any sense? Which is also actually equally frustrating because I really do. I want to use the gate. It looks cool. But it would have to be like on the front, like kind of like that. But then even then, I wouldn't have an option to... I'm just trying to think through what I've got going on. What could I possibly do to make this work? I guess it would have to... It's going to have to be lined up there, right? No, it's the same issue. I've got a two gap. I love this game. I love this game. I love it so, so much. What happens if I have back-to-back gates? No, that can't work. That means the only option is to have a gate on the front and a gate on the back, right? That's going to be the only option I have to fit that all together. So how the heck is that going to work? Because it's going to have to be one there and one there. I mean, of course, this could probably work without the gate, because I do have those pillars. I actually believe I have one without. Do I have it without the flourish? So if I just completely drop the gate itself, I should be able to make this fit manually by just having it to be a custom size. Like that, right? Look how tiny that is. Look how tiny that entrance is. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me undo that. And then we'll put that in there. I'll be honest, I didn't think I was going to spend this much time on this patio area. 100%. But that means I can move that back down. I can't. Because of Merlin's. That's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. What if I move it back? Oh, I can go right the way back with that? Do you think I'd be able to fit in maybe at least just a single one that rotates back into the water? So I'm probably going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to have to get rid of that row. But then I can add to that one. Like that. Bring that out. We finally found a format that fits. I think we finally found a format that fits. There we go. We got our small walled garden in the end. In the end, perseverance prevailed. We've got Merlin's little... I don't even know if this is a Merlin item, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's do that. And then I wonder if I could actually bring these stone flags in some capacity. No, Merlin still hates me. But it could kind of go under the water. I'm not bothered by that. I mean, I could have... I don't hate that either, actually. So what if I put that instead of that there? Is that too much? I like the way it kind of has a curve to it, though. I don't really play around with pathing all that much, but I kind of like how that looks. It feels like it runs down, and I mean, it all lines up. I'm kind of into that, actually. I'm kind of into that. I realize that I am severely limiting my space to put foliage, so I do need to consider that as we kind of like move on through this process. But for now, that's kind of fun. The other option that I could have done was kind of add these flagstones like to the sides. Let me just show you. Kind of add them to the sides of the path running towards the house. I think I've done that on a build previously, although I can't get the last one in. So actually, that doesn't feel as fun. That doesn't feel as fun as that. So let's do that. Let's place some of these back in. We'll do one there. Let's do one there. And then we can address the ones coming out the back later. Okay, I mean, I feel like we're getting somewhere. Of course, I've still got all of these celestial bits that I can use, including this lovely kind of like fire pit. I'm just... what I would love is to get that on the water, but I know I can't because obviously I've got the Moontide Glow stuff in there, so that's fine. Maybe it is... I know I'm going back to something from earlier, but maybe it is that it goes in there. That feels like a much better fit than the planets do. I mean, there's always... It's a shame that can't go on water either, because I would have loved this like floating over the water. Right, tell you what, I'm going to leave it. I don't know whether it needs to be a... I don't know whether it needs to be a feature or not. I'm going to move those out for now. Just for now. And then just coming back to this patio to finish this off. I'm looking at the options. I think maybe just some books or something. Maybe that's a bit too big. That particular pile. But maybe a stack of books on the edge just as you walk in. Maybe that big stack can go here, like right next to the telescope. And maybe we do the little stack again over that side, possibly with an open book. Just as you walk in. That feels cute. I wonder if there's any more. I thought that we had some more books, but I know that some of them are from Storybook Vale, and they don't quite match. I've got a messy pile of books, but I don't know about those ones. They don't feel as celestial. I've got a line of books, actually, that could be handy. So you know what? I'm going to put that up here. Small book pile. Looks like I did forget some. Oh my goodness, I did. Look at all of these books. That's the big pile of books. I got that one. Got the book pile. So I just missed the small and the book pile. So actually, let's do one there too. I feel like Merlin is nothing if not well read. And then, obviously, I wanted to try and fit some of the planters in. So what I was thinking was replace, if at all possible, some of that with planters. But I'm going to have to... I fear that I'm going to have to choose wisely. But I mean, I could do all planters along the back, maybe? No, because it wouldn't quite fit just because of the way it's like laid out in threes. And then I was also wondering, do I do planters down the sides? I don't know, I feel like I've undone all the hard work. Oh no. Let me try one there and one there. And I can pop that back in. And see, that looks odd. It looks odd having it. I mean, let me see what it looks like in the middle. Unless I did 1 and 1, and then a planter and a planter and 1 in the middle. Merlin's house just needed to come forward 1 tile. But then I hit the flagstones. Look at that. I'm working in such a small space. I'm working in such a small space that everything sets something off. Maybe I don't need... No, see, I say I don't need them, but I feel like it'll look cool when the plants are actually in them. So, you know what? I'm gonna leave those planters in there. And I think it'll be quite cool. Actually, we've got some plants here. So, like, let me show you. I think it'll be quite cool to get those plants in there because you're really able to fill these up, especially if it's a 2x2 tile. You see what I mean? You can really fill the space with some nice plants. So I do have a bunch of these in my inventory. I'll probably use some purple ones. Actually, let me do that. Let me do that. I feel like these are the colors that really go with this build, just based on like the golds and everything that we have. So I'm thinking maybe... Yeah, maybe we do like purple, purple. And then have the gold and the white, or the yellow and the white, I should say, on the outsides. Kind of like that. That does look cute, though. That does look cute. I like how that looks. Okay, noted. We'll do that for the rest of it. But for now, I fear that we need to move on to something else. Just popped into my head. I know we've got this Edwardian gate. Oh, again, it's just slightly too wide for the space. I was going to put my own gate in, but it's just slightly too wide. That's so upsetting to me. I mean, it could be on the outside, but that doesn't really make sense because gates are kind of like in the middle, right? So that doesn't necessarily work, but I'm happy with this. The one thing that I am starting to get concerned about is foliage. I need to make sure that that fits in, but I also want to get all of the like little bits and pieces down first. Let's see what else we've got. I've actually got this little stone bench, which that placement for me right now is working. I just quite like the fact that it's just sort of like off to the side. It could be surrounded by something. Maybe we put, I don't know, maybe we put like the lights by it or something like that. Or maybe we have these celestial lights with these big old footprints. No, let's have it either side of Merlin's house. Like the door. Maybe one there and one there. Is that where it needs to be? But then I wonder if I'm not going to be able to get to that bench anymore. Let's have a look. What do we got? Could you have one like that? So those are kind of going diagonal in a way. I don't like that. No, 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 no. Maybe this needs some light. Maybe Merlin needs some light out the back. I mean, they feel like they fit, but actually also, I tell you what does feel like it would fit over that if I can fit it. The community lanterns. Yeah, like just over this space. Wait, what don't you like? Oh, there it is. That's cute. I wonder if I could fit 2. Do we think I could fit 2 in? I don't think I can. I don't know. 1? I can? Oh, look at that. That's so cute. Okay, I love that. Yeah, I love that. I am forgetting this gigantic floating planets and dropping stars, but that's okay. That's okay. What about these columns? These columns feel like they're like really impactful too. Would they work better instead of those? I'm gonna say no, but then I'm also like, would they work as the corners? Is this too crazy? I don't think that's too crazy. I think that actually looks really good. I do wish that I could bring this down to here. So I fear that I'm going to have to do something about that little bit of Merlin's house poking out. Now, I don't know what that is yet. Unfortunately, I think it's moving that forward. But that's okay. We adapt, we thrive. And maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. I think it still works though. And it just means that I can bring all of that down and just give it the proper spacing right the way around. This corner is going to be the end of me. This corner is going to be the end of me. There we go. Like, that's fun, right? And then maybe we just move all of these. No, you don't want to select onto. Okay, I just wanted the pond. Kind of like that. All right, I think we're still on. I think we're still on track. Unless I move that down. Every time I say to myself, unless... I know it's going to be a bad idea, but it's going to be one that I have to try. Okay, so now I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, could this sit right in the middle of those? And it does. And then that spacing feels good. So that's like right in the center of that gap. That's in the center of that gap. And then actually I've got a little bit more space to put that bench. And maybe these go by the bench instead. Yeah, that works, right? Kind of like that. That's cute, though. Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. That's cute. And then we can have some stepping stones, like maybe just heading over to the bench from the main path. If I can find a way to configure those that is actually happy with me. And maybe it's not necessarily those ones. Maybe it's like the rock rug. Maybe it's the rock rug, or maybe it's just the stones. You know the stones that we have in the rocks tab? See, those are the Forest of Valor ones, although they don't feel like stepping stones, right? They feel a little bit more intense. Like you'd stub your toe. Let me just check that rock rug. I think it's been moved back to rugs. Or it might be in... It might be in foliage. But the easiest thing to do is just search for rock in the all tab. Oh, rocky terrain. Oh, see, it's a little bit dark. Actually, I forgot how dark it was. I mean, it's not the worst. It does actually kind of match the path, but it does bring the tone down a little bit. I'm just looking at that. There we go. So I think it just needs a little something. Maybe this is where these ones come in. These zircon tiles. I mean, I know that I'm introducing a lot of tiles. It's not lost on me. Actually, I kind of like that. I do. I kind of like that. What if I mix it with those ones? Is it possible? No. Nah, do I like that? The blue's not good. The blue kind of clashes with the green. And then I feel like I'm just getting... There's a lot going on. Like, there's so many different paths. Although part of me does like it. Part of me does like it. Unless I use something that I've used, which is this path. So we do like one... I mean, that could work. Is it perfect? No. Could it be a possibility? Maybe. Let's do that there and that there. Okay, actually, that kind of works. I like the way it like curves around. Actually, I like them facing the same way. Okay, fine. Let's do that. Let's do that. And I wonder if we put this... Will this sneak behind to create like a nice... Like a nice glow? Oh, that's kind of cute. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, amazing. I think we're definitely getting there for sure. Now I'm wondering if these go over Merlin's house or whether they go over... Oh no, I couldn't do that, could I? It couldn't go over the water. That's such a shame because I was thinking they would be perfect like over the lighthouse like that. Wouldn't that have been perfect? Wouldn't that have been perfect? Because now I still feel like over Merlin's... I mean, is it too much? Maybe it's not. I will leave those until last, however, just for the sake of it, because there's so much going on and so much that I still need to grab. So yes, because I have expanded this now, I'm just going to pop this light in. Again, I don't really know what this light does. I think it's from Storybook Vale, possibly with Aurora, but I can't sneak it in there because of the way that those lanterns are sitting. Just means I have to have it by there, which is fine. It just means I can put maybe like another pile of books or something in that corner, just like that. So we are really in bookish heaven over on that front. Let me double check my rugs quickly and see if there's anything that could fit. I'm just thinking anything blue. No, we don't really have anything celestial, to be honest. I mean, we've got that one. Does it add anything? Not really. So I don't think I need to put anything down in there for that. So out of the stuff that I haven't used, it's like these vines. Whether I use them or not, still not sure. I mean, they do add like... I think they do add something. I just don't know what that something is. I just don't know what that something is. I mean, it's not like super ugly or anything. It's just whether it quite fits. Don't think you can place those on water, unfortunately. No, it seems as though that's out, but they are very thin, so you could kind of like... almost use them as a screen for this bit. But just based off how wide they are, it looks like we'd only really be able to fit one in. I'm just toying with the idea of having it as like some sort of, I don't know, feature. Like, it's just the space, that's all. It's just the space. I was thinking of having something like that where they kind of meet, but then does that really add anything to the vibe? That I'm not sure. Maybe the big one is too tall and it needs to be something smaller, but even then, matches the building color, yes. Doesn't match the vibe. Well, could do something like that, maybe. Don't know if I'm feeling that. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. I think that these vines are a chop for this particular build. I mean, I've got a well. Does the well go anywhere? Does the well feel like part of the build? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Which doesn't really leave me with much. I don't want to use that. That feels too futuristic now. I do have these nice little blue plants with the gold on them, which I'm going to smatter in when I do the foliage. The only other thing really is that planet, that floating planet. It'd be cool if I could put it above that, but obviously I can't. And other than that, I'm just like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, where do you fit? And I just don't know if it does. I mean, I guess it could go there, but I'm thinking of having foliage there. Too big to go in this space. So I think for me, this one's going to have to be missed out this time, unless I had it at the end, like at the back of this pond. I'd have to go about there to be in line. I mean, I could kind of like maybe wall that in with foliage, so that doesn't become a walkthrough, but it comes like a viewing point for the planet. I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. And then I'm going to fill this in with foliage. So I think... Do we need some statues up in here? Do we need some statues? Do they add anything? Do they detract? I feel like they're not... I just feel like they're not necessary. All this stuff that I thought that I was going to use is turning out, honestly, to feel like I don't need it. This build is a bit simpler. As long as this has taken, believe it or not, this does feel like a bit simpler than I initially envisioned. So let me get some foliage down. Let's do that. Let's get some foliage down and see where we land. So for foliage, I was thinking we do have some blue trees. So we did get blue trees with Storybook Vale. Around Christmas time, if you purchased the plaza, we did get these holiday trees as well. Some of them are bluer than the others, so we got different size of those silver birch. We did get some white ones. Well, actually, I would say they're like icy blue. I don't think they're going to work. I don't think those particular ones are going to work for this build. I mean, they don't look completely out of place, but I think the deeper blue works a little bit better just for me. We did get a nice blue shrub though. So I think on the whole, when I look through mainly my foliage tab, I think that I'm better off sticking with trees and underbrush. And then I also think that we can bring in some of the green ones. So we've got this nice little rock work. I'm just going to place a bunch of things down over on this side. We've got this nice little rock work. We do have the reeds, which I'm thinking will be perfect on the water, especially like on the edges to try and disguise some of the harsh edges. The butterfly flowers, I don't think we need those. Cattails always look good. We do have purple shrubs, but I feel like even though that luminous gazebo is purple, I feel like when I feel like it matches Merlin's closer than this kind of purple, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to stick with the... I think I'm going to stick with the blue. But maybe we just drop down some of the Peaceful Meadow shrubs instead. I know that there's a few different sizes, and then we've also got the flower bush, which does have blue flowers on, so that's actually perfect for this. I know that we've got this like ombre shrub, but I don't know about that one. I think I prefer the gold one we've got up here. We do have the blue fiddleheads, but I don't think they necessarily fit, and some of the Wish Blossom Ranch stuff is a little bit too structured, I would say. But we've definitely got options. That's the main thing. We've got options. These little ever after ones are going to be so handy. The shrubs, and then, I mean, the tree, the forked tree. I know that there's a forked one somewhere. The footprint definitely starts getting bigger, but that is a great one. And then I don't want to overdo it with the blue. I don't want to absolutely swallow the build-up with like just blue tones. I might pop a cypress down as a reference. But I think if we can get anything that is sort of Peaceful Meadow colored. So I'm thinking this almost greenier one, like this. I think this is more of the Peaceful Meadow coloring. I think there are 3 big trees for the maples, and then we've also got the birches. But I think if I'm using the blue silver birch, I won't need the other one. I'm just looking at hedges. Could we actually hedge that in? No. Too structured for this kind of like meandering build. So let's try and work with some of that. First thing first, let me see what the smallest footprint is. This is a 5x5. I think this is also a 5x5. And then that one is slightly larger at a 6x6. So I don't know if we have... Oh, look, we do have space for a 5x5 right there on the edge of the water. That's nice. I wasn't sure about that, but what if I could put even... Will it take the bigger one? No. Oh, maybe that's not a 5. Maybe that's a 7x7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's an 8. Oh, so this is a 6x6. Got it. Well, maybe I could use this taller one. Because it does have like kind of a leaning angle to it. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I could lean it kind of like that towards there just to create something like that. But then I wonder if that's taking up too much of our view of the lighthouse. And maybe this one does fit the bill. For that particular space. Then the thing is, I would also probably... Okay, I can't fit one in there, which is a shame. I was hoping I'd be able to fit a tree in here. There may be something that I can fit. Whether it be something along those lines, like that. But that's not quite what I was after. Too much trunk on that one, I fear. Let me move that back out to here. What size have we got? These ones are quite big. I know that. Although this one looks okay. I wonder, is there a little gap down here that it could sneak into? Or are we're just one tile too big? Which is a shame. But then I guess the telescope would be looking at a tree, if that was the case. Let me see. Again, these might be too structured, but these could work as a hedge. Because these actually could go all the way down. Let's see what they look like. I'm just going to put a bunch of these down. Oh no, it hits it straight away there. Oh no, it doesn't. That was me. I just want to see how they look. I mean, I don't dislike that. I don't dislike that at all, to be honest. I feel like it adds like a screen that it needs. The only thing in the back of my head is I'm thinking it probably needs something down there as well, right? But maybe we put... Is there a fence that could fit at least somewhat down the side of that? Let's see. Starting there. Okay, I mean, I can get it to that point. I can get it to the shrub, and then I could maybe get it on the other side of the shrub. Perhaps like out to the... Okay, out to there. That's fine. Have I gone like too... I mean, we've got the brickwork. I was worried that I've gone too structured and formal with that, but actually, I think that looks quite good. Part of me wants a big blue tree in this back corner, and I don't know how to get one. I don't know whether to lose that maybe and try and work out if I could fit... Look at the size of these footprints. These are huge, but maybe something like... I really would like that in there. Let me see how it looks if I do... All that work I spent doing those walls for me to just delete one. Let's bring that over. I do fear that that mining node is gone. But don't you think the blue just kind of like brings it together slightly? Especially with some height to it? Or I could be totally wrong. Let me move that out, and let me move this one in, if it has the space. It does not have the space, because this tree is gigantic. That's why I like the red maples, because the red maples, even the big one, has like a really small footprint. Okay. That's fine. We persevere. We persevere and we push on. Let me see what the actual tree looks like. I mean, I don't dislike that either. Let me get my little celestial setup going back on. There's absolutely nowhere down that back bit that I could put it. Obviously, I'm limited in space anyway, just because of the size of the water that we had to use. And I know that the lighthouse looks kind of small even on this, but the glow is worth it, right? Like, I feel like the glow is just super celestial. I feel like that's very, very worth it. The one thing I didn't ever notice, I'm just going to see how closely they match now, is this kind of goes with the brickwork. Like, that looks nice. You could create some sort of custom fence with borders in, or with flower beds in. That would look amazing. Look at that. They match really nicely. Okay. Okay. I do think it needs something in this back corner. So I do think we might need to lose that one. Let me just double check in the trees. So we've got these white ones, but again, these have... Actually, that one has a lovely small footprint, but the color of it just is not... It's not for me. But unfortunately, I think we might be limited... to whatever we've got already down. Because even the birch trees, the base game birch trees, have super big footprints. What did I have? I had this, right? I think I had this one. But I had to get rid of that other bit of wall to be able to fit it in. And I don't think it's like a deal breaker. For me, I I need to work on the other bits. Let's leave that till the end. Let's work on some of the smaller stuff. I think actually getting maybe this bit of rock work in, if I can fit it, this would be like the perfect location for it right here. And it does fit. Let's go. Let's do that. Let's pop that right in there. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. And then let's grab maybe some flower bushes to go. Okay, it doesn't want to fit there. Maybe okay, it doesn't want to. Maybe my planet idea is not going to work. Maybe there's nothing that can go around this planet. Not this. All right, rude on the flower bushes because I thought that they were going to look really cool. Part of me wants to be like, what would it look like if I did them right around the edge of this? But even then, I can't get I can't get them. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let's try. Oh, look at that. It's got a big footprint out there. You know, something like that maybe. And then I was wondering actually if that might work on the other side. But it would have to be like 2. Actually, I can't get anywhere near as... Interesting. I can't get anywhere near as close on that side as I can on the right for whatever reason. Unless I did... No, seems to be just the way that the footprint works. That's fine. I thought something like that, but it's not executing in the way that I envisioned. I think maybe I'm going too structured. Maybe the structure should just be around the edge and this bit should be a bit more wild and free-flowing. I tell you what I do want to grab. I want to grab... There's a grass in here somewhere. I think it's the beach grass that can clip into most stuff. But it's only one type of the beach grasses. I believe that there's 3 of them. Although, oh, I was going to say, maybe they've patched that, but it looks like it only works on certain stuff. And then there is a meadow grass as well. Which is funny that it's called a meadow grass because it doesn't really match anything in the meadow. And I think there's only 1 of those. But it does have... I was going to say it has more texture than the beach grass, but I'm not sure. I think it's just the beach grass doesn't have any shadows. That's the main thing. But this doesn't clip into anything, sadly. Let's grab... That's a gigantic footprint. That's a gigantic footprint. That one's a little bit smaller. And the tree is relatively small. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this like small shrub. I'm going to try and fit that in. Maybe either side of this. This will be quite close by the look of it. Something like that. Actually, I think that needs... Part of me feels like that needs to be even closer, but I'm not sure. But I can't get that one any further away. I mean, that still looks fine. Yeah, like that, maybe, out the back. And then what if I put maybe one of the trees? I feel like this space is crying out for a tree. Just like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, kind of like that. And I've also got these shrubs, but again, like I said, this footprint is huge, so I don't think that is going to work for this just yet. What else have we got? Let me put a blue one down. And actually, let's do a blue tree. Maybe on the edge to give some height. That looks good. And then maybe we do... I feel like a flower bush right in there would have been great if we could clip into it. It's just a shame that we can't clip. Let's do a flower bush by there. Actually, where can I get the flower bush? One there. And let's do one roughly about the same. Kind of like that. Then we could always add in... We could always add in one of these forked trees. So I think this has actually like the smallest footprint. I mean, that looks good. I wish it could be one tile across. Just so the trunk was a little bit more in line, but... We can do like a little angle like that. And I wonder if there's anywhere else one of these could go. Maybe it could go behind the house. Is there space? I'm going to say no, but yes. I can sneak one in just by there. Oh, there is space for one there too, but I feel like that blocks quite a lot. But we could have it like off the side of that. Maybe coming out, and then we could do... Maybe we need a smaller green tree. Maybe that's what I need. Do I have any down here already? I mean, we've got these ones, but these do have like bunting on, and I feel like that's out of place. Let's have a quick look. Trees. I know we've got those green trees. It's a bit darker than the rest, like this one. Although maybe it does... Maybe that's too big, right? We could do the small one, though. Kind of something like that. Maybe if we move that across. And we brought that out and we popped maybe... No, I don't like that. I don't like that tree. It's very dark. Also, the only downside about having the trees on this edge here is that they do kind of like block the light, but I don't hate it. Let me put some grass down. Let's put some grass like here. And maybe do some more at the back. Kind of like that. Don't know if any of these green shrubs have a smaller footprint. I wish that they did. Let's take a look in the underbrush again. Let's see if there's just anything with a small-ish footprint. But I don't think there is. All the decent stuff is kind of like Eternity Isle based, because that's all like small tiles, but it's all a little bit more tropical than what I'm going for. But I don't want to forget these gold shrubs either, so I think that they work... They could work quite nicely either side of the building. But not if they don't line up. So what if I did them... I was about to say, what if I did them all the way down the path, but does that might feel too much. That feels a little bit too much. So instead, I'm just going to try and sneak them in different places if I possibly can. Just to bring like just to bring the gold essence out. Maybe one in there. I'm definitely wondering if I need something around here. I don't know if it's grass, but I don't, unless it's flowers. You can see that I filled the flower bed, so I think that they look quite nice. I just need to get a couple more purple ones over here. Let me grab one of these, place that down there. Place another tree. We can do that there. I wonder if I could use this again, actually. Like, do you want to fit? I know that you do. I know that you do. Maybe like there? It's got the nice rock structure in it. I just wanted this bit to feel like nice and natural. Maybe now we bring in... Actually, maybe we can bring in one of these shrubs. Maybe some grass. Got to be somewhere that fits. And then actually I can pop the grass just on the edge. And then maybe we do grass like... Maybe there? I kind of like... Actually, no. I more than like this grass. I really love this beach grass. It brings builds to life. It really like fills them out, which is what I think the bonus of having it down does. Like it just makes it feel overgrown, but in a great way. Let's put it maybe there. I wonder if I could fit maybe one of those small blue trees down the back. Yeah, just kind of like that to really frame that. Move that back. Let's do that. Actually, no, let's have it facing out the back. Like that. There's a lot of blue going on, but I think it still works. I do think I need like another tree or something. I just don't know what or where, because we are low on space. We are low on space, low on space. Part of me's wondering whether I just sacrifice. This might not be the play, but do I sacrifice that and that to bring in like a taller tree? Because it would fit, you know, it would fit like that. And I think like something like that is maybe what it's missing, although not that one actually, but this one maybe. You see, kind of like that. So what I could do is move that across. I could always bring my celestial pillar back in, even if we have to lose that bit of floor. Because I still really like that. I wonder if actually I could fit the fence in over here too. Do you think I could? I mean, it seems... Okay. Only goes to his table. But I wonder if I move that forward. Is it just that that's blocking it? Or is it getting stuck on the lights? I mean, I could do that. That's not the end of the world. I fear. I think that looks fine. And that means I can still have... Well, actually, I can get rid of that corner and I can bring that in there. Get rid of that corner, bring that in there. And I can still have my pillars. Yeah, I feel like I need to move those in, right? But if I've moved that forward, if I've moved all that forward, does that not mean that I can fit this back in? Although I guess it's quite wide, right? It's definitely... What am I hitting? I'm hitting the... What am I hitting? Is it just this? And then maybe the bugs? So if that's the case, I may as well just leave this back in and just have brought it all in by one. Okay, it needs to come in one more. All right, I'm definitely pushing it for tightness now. Like, I'm going to have to lose that. Okay, this maybe this is getting too much. Or maybe it'll be perfect. But what a joy that we get to try. Okay. And then we use the single one again. I mean, I think that still works. Just fine. Maybe instead of those ones, I could have the really big pile. If the footprint allows. Yeah, by there. See, that doesn't look bad. Let me grab that pile. Move that back. And then I could have the line of books. Where are you, line of books? Like down the side. Okay, that all still works. That's fine. And then I could just put some, I don't know, maybe some trees or some shrubs down the back. No? Okay, that's fine too. That's fine. That's no problem. We'll just do grass then. We won't do grass either, apparently, and that's okay. We'll just leave it as it is. We'll just leave it as it is. But of course, I'll just double check. Just in case, you never know. See, I was able to fit one in. That's a bonus. All right, no, I really will leave that. That mining node is out. I'm sorry, it's chopped. It's gone. But at least I can still access this one. I would say that this is like very nearly there for what I was intending and what I was trying to do. I think the last little bits, and it's always difficult with using like actual flowers because if I place them down and then I use like an ancient vacuum, it always sucks them up. So I don't love using like biome flowers if I don't have to, but I'm just going to take a quick look through my actual foliage tab and see if there's anything down here that could kind of work in place of that, but also has a really small footprint. I don't think that I'm going to be in much luck, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But you never know. There could be something on the way. These, I mean, they've got gold on them, but they still feel a little bit out of place. I mean, it does have gold, but I don't know. Something about that doesn't feel quite right. Unless... no. I don't like that. Pampas grass, that rug, that jug is far too rickety. Tall potted plants, not really. Hydrangeas, they don't even feel like they really go with the vibe. The discs also just don't feel like they work, which is fine. Maybe it doesn't need anything. Maybe I'm over complicating it. Because maybe it just doesn't need anything at all. I was hoping that I might be able to blend some stuff in with these stones. But I don't think that's, unfortunately, the case. That's too much grass there, I think. It would be great to fit one down here, but it doesn't even clip into Merlin's, sadly. I couldn't... No. No. No, 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 no. But otherwise, it looks really good. I'm super happy with how it's come together. Just running through my mind these last couple of little bits of where stuff could sit. And it's primarily just this bit here. This bit on the ground. And I don't know whether it's just small rocks. Like, I don't know whether it's just maybe some of these. Like the Peaceful Meadow ones. That's too big. And obviously, that's far too big. Maybe I should have thought about that somewhere. But there are smaller versions. Peaceful Meadow Stone Cluster. Not quite fitting. That's okay. I might see if I can pop one like in just randomly, like maybe at the sides. Just kind of like that. Maybe I can sneak another one in at the back. Maybe at the side. That's cute. I like that. And then I guess I just have to rely on the single small ones, but I can't see the Peaceful Meadow one. Plaza, mossy, sunlit. Tell you what, let's just do peace. There we go. There it is. Because I like these ones because they're mossy. So they've got a little bit of interest to them. They've still got a bit of greenery. So actually we could do like... We could do one there. And then maybe just one if it wants to play ball. Like... Where do you want to go? Like there? That's fine. And then maybe just one on the other side. Actually, I don't need one over there. Let's just do two. Let's just do the two. But I might pop one out the front. And then let's do one here. Let's get one just down like in the middle of that. Yes. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, and then of course I forgot. I know I placed two of them down, but I do have those tiny little gold plants. So I need to make use of those. Actually, and put those down. Let's move it like there. Let's do one out there. Maybe we can pop one by... let's move that across. Pop one by there. And then let's do a final one here. And... I don't know. Here. Yeah, cute. I think that's it. I think that is done. Let's have one final pass over the top of this. See what we've used, see what we haven't used. These are the final thing that are kind of like... I don't know. I just don't know. Do we place them where we were going to, right there? Or do we think that they detract from the build? I feel like it's not needed, which is wild because I didn't end up using the Celestial Observatory. And I haven't ended up using the rotating kind of planetary rock meteor things. I just undid too far. I wish that we had a redo button. A redo button would be a lifesaver. We've got an undo, but justice for a redo. Oh, I tell you, one final thing that I want to put down is actually, if I can, some water lilies to match. So these water lilies. Oh, and I forgot all the cattails. We need to do the water. Let's do that. And then we'll be done. So let's grab some short cattails. We'll just dot those around. We'll grab... Was there a tall set? I think those are the tall ones. I thought there was a single one as well, actually. I'll be honest. But we can put some lilies down. Because obviously this uses... Not exactly the same one, but it does use some lilies. So we can cluster these about. Make sure that they fit, look nice. At the back, maybe one there, maybe another one. Maybe here. I don't know whether to put any reeds down. Maybe on the edge. We've got some varying height ones. I can grab maybe, I don't know, another small one to put out front. Trying to make it look kind of like random and natural. Don't know if I'm achieving that, but let's do... Let's do another one of these right in the glow. And then some cattails against that. And then let me do a double one. Actually, no, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I think that's enough. I don't like that those are completely aligned. Let's put that there. And maybe one just out the back. Okay. I think that works because that now ties the two water pieces together. So I'm super happy with that. Actually, this has come together so nicely. Oh, I love this. I believe, my friends, that we are done. I thought that it would be fitting to do the tour in this very elegant celestial gown to match this build. Feels like it goes together very nicely. But if I approach this corner of the Peaceful Meadow from my character's point of view, I think that the aspect looks great. I'm so happy that I kept the fireplace instead of the planets. I just think that it goes with the gazebo so well. We've got all the foliage off here to the left, which I think just provides a nice natural element. And then, of course, if we come under the gazebo, we can walk around, head on to our nice, interesting path. We've got the pond off to the right, which you can actually walk across, take a closer look at this planet or this planetary effect that we've got. Come on over to the other side on the path. We've got that lovely aspect over to the lighthouse, which matches so well with Merlin's on the water with that moontide glow, just giving that gorgeous, gorgeous effect from Pocahontas. Coming on down the path then, we've got that nice little seating area with the mining node still accessible, somewhere to sit with the lights on and the starry night in the background. Super, super cute. And then moving over, we've got some stepping stones out to what I guess could be a research center for Merlin, for looking up at the night sky. All of his books, everything he needs in one place. Not a build where you kind of do a big loop around it, but definitely a build that I'm happy with. I love how this turned out. Let me show you what it looks like at night. I would kind of say that this almost looks as good at night as it does in the day because we've got the gazebo that glows with that fireplace in it as well. All of those blues really pop. Of course, we've got the water, the moontide glow in the water over there, which just really makes it feel celestial. The pond on this side has some light up elements. We've got the planets as well. The dress helps because the orange glows in the evening, the Starry Night projector with the lights, and then of course we've got those columns over here out the back as well, providing a lovely bit of light with those celestial lanterns. All right, gang, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun putting that build together. Going in blind and just making it up as we go along is one of my favorite build styles and my favorite things to do. So I hope that you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please feel free to give the video a like, maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content and decorating content. Then if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like, or maybe even consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content and more decorating content across a multiple of games. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me today. I do hope that you find some use in this and some inspiration. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. But with all of that being said, I am going to leave it there for today. So I will catch you in the next one, and I will, of course, see you in the valley.